Hey everybody, if you're watching, we will be kicking things off shortly. We're, as you can probably tell, changing things up and going to be live on YouTube only. So give us a couple minutes here and we will get things kicked off at the top of the hour. YouTube only. So give us a couple minutes.
Sweet. I got it hooked up, man. We're trying the new method.
Yeah, this is fun. I've got like YouTube on the one hand. We might get this edited out, so we'll have to work on the process. But yeah, let's just go ahead and kick it off. It's 4 o'clock. Welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. This is episode 421. Welcome to us being live on YouTube only. So hopefully you're going to find us here. I know it's going to throw people for a loop, but I just wanted to say we're going to be doing this. So we will have questions. So you can always ask questions throughout the week. The only changes, that's going to be semanticmastery.com/HD questions. That's going to take you to a forum. You can just dump your questions there, bookmark it, do whatever you need to do. And then you can, of course, subscribe to the Semantic Mastery channel on YouTube and get an alert that way. Or you could just come to semanticmastery.com/HDHO. Instead of taking you to the old page, it's just going to take you to the latest, or it's going to take you to the last one if it's not time for the new one. So we'll get this stuff set up. We'll probably work out the kinks. Let us know how you like it. And you can use the chat as well. So with that said, Bradley, how you doing today?
Busy, but I'm glad to be here. And yes, we are switching up our YouTube Hump Day Hangouts. 8 years now we've been doing this, and we've done it one specific way. And that was to always have the YouTube video embedded on a watch page, a page that we set up with a chat widget and blah, blah, blah. You guys know, right? So anyway, in the channel Jumpstart program, training or coaching program right now, Daryl Eves program. It's fabulous. And it's, you know, I've learned so much. We're in week 7 right now of, there's 8 weeks of like training, and then there's 4 weeks of group coaching afterwards. So we're in the 7th of 8 weeks of training right now. And it's all about, I've learned a lot about YouTube and what triggers the algorithm and that kind of stuff. And what YouTube cares about is watch time more than anything. Like watch time, average view duration, and average views per viewer. That matters more than anything. And what I didn't realize until just in the past week is that sending 8 years we've been doing these Hump Day Hangouts and always had an embedded video on one of our own pages. That doesn't count as the same as watch time on YouTube. So, you know, we could probably have a much larger audience if we had been streaming directly on YouTube. Well, 8 years ago, you couldn't do that, but within the last couple of years, we could have, but I didn't know. So you can't know what you don't know. Now we know. And so we're trying this now. So we have the original, like normally, if you guys would go to HD questions or whatever, it would take you to the page where we had the embedded video, but we want to increase the watch time on our channel. So therefore we're now just going to use YouTube Live. So we've got that HD questions redirect now going to a Google form. You can submit your questions via the Google form. I will open up a spreadsheet where the responses are and answer the questions that were pre-posted there. And then you can ask questions live here on the, you know, in the YouTube Live chat area. So that way we have a record of both live questions as well as the pre-posted questions. And we're going to try it and we're going to see how it works. I'm going to monitor analytics, YouTube analytics over the next probably month while we test this process out and see if it indeed is helping our channel to grow. And if so, then we're going to keep it this way. So I don't like change when it comes to this kind of stuff. I get into a nice routine. It's easy because it's, you know, it's like almost autopilot getting set up every week. So this is a little bit more, a little bit of a challenge to make sure that this runs smoothly. So just bear with us, guys. Try to be patient while we test this out and see if it works.
Yeah, and we appreciate the feedback. If you're not in the Facebook group, hop into the Facebook group, Semantic Mastery. And we would love to get your feedback. I know I've had a lot of people over the past, especially the last year, the comments on YouTube have grown, and I always go in there and comment, hey, if you want to ask questions, go to semanticmastery.com/HDHO and come join us. But now this should take care of that. So now it's just kind of one place, one chat box, one screen. Should be easier. But definitely, we also do this for you guys. So let us know if it's better, if it could be improved, if there's things that work or don't work well. We definitely want to know. So by all means, let us know. So Bradley, you mentioned what you've been up to with I forget the name of the program, but the YouTube training you've been doing. And then I think you've been sharing some of that in the mastermind as well, correct?
What was it that I was sharing? I'm sorry.
The YouTube training you're going through right now.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's Daryl Eves training called Channel Jumpstart. It's very, very thorough. And it's more about how to become a better creator on YouTube and trigger the algorithm and do all that. But it's not like a YouTube SEO course. It's not like that at all. And in fact, what I've learned, which again was very eye-opening to me, was that the YouTube algorithm is not so much, there's a couple of on-page factors that we should be optimizing for, such as the title of the video and tags. Those are the two most important things that you can optimize with like traditional SEO tactics. So everything else is done algorithmically. Like, in other words, one of the things that you can do to optimize for YouTube is optimize the metadata, which means like the video itself, the content, the thumbnail image, like seriously, all of those things are important because that's what YouTube does as one of many algorithms. Is the vast majority of traffic is generated on YouTube through suggested videos. Okay, through suggested videos and through browse features, but mostly through suggested videos. So if you can trigger the algorithm to push out similar content to people that are watching content that have high, kind of average view duration or whatever, they're watching a lot of a video, then the algorithm thinks, okay, well, they're interested in this, so we're going to show in suggested videos or in the up next video at the end of a video, something that's similar. And so there's ways that you can trigger like the algorithm with by having similar metadata, and Daryl calls it buckets, but like essentially thumbnails that are similar, kind of the theme of the video are similar, and that's the way you optimize the metadata. Now I'm learning this now. I haven't really started to apply it much. We've applied some of the tactics that we've learned to our channel already, and we've started to see significant growth for our channel, way more than we have in the previous years in just the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And so I'm really anxious to start recording and publishing some of these videos that are going to be more engaging. So we're still going to do our tutorial and our question and answer videos like what we do now. That's not going to change. But my goal is to start doing about 2 videos per month, one every 2 weeks. That's going to be more engaging. We'll be kind of training, but have different camera angles and different shots and stuff, just to kind of get more exposure in YouTube for our channel, to bring people in, and then they can stay for the tutorials and how, the questions and answers and that kind of stuff. So it's a really cool system as far as, learning. I've learned a lot. It was very expensive, but I think it was money well spent. And we shall see. I'm going to put it to the test over the next few months and see how it goes.
Cool. Well, before we get into the questions, just wanted to say we generally aren't talking YouTube production stuff, although, of course, we do share what's going on and what we're working on in the mastermind with the mastermind members. Whether that's checking out the newest AI tools, different things we're using, services, courses we're taking. And so if you're into that, but more, especially if you're into local SEO, Google Business, Maps, all of that, then the mastermind is definitely the place for you. If you've got an agency or you're a consultant and want to grow that and want to have kind of a trusted peer circle of others, along with Bradley's training, access to everyone in the mastermind and all that entails. If you're not familiar with the mastermind, you can, of course, find out more at mastermind.semanticmastery.com. I'll put the link up in the chat box. Go check it out. Come join us when you're ready. All right, Bradley, anything else?
No, I don't see anything else. Now, one thing I should do, though, is we have to, and I didn't think about this, we need to pull the pre-posted questions from the chat widget that we don't have access to now. That's one thing I didn't think about.
Yeah, so go ahead and pull up the spreadsheet, and then I'll go access the chat box stuff.
Yeah, I've got one question from Bobby Lee on the spreadsheet. So that's all we have currently. Let's
yeah, I'll go grab that stuff.
Okay. Right on. Like I said, bear with us, guys, while we kind of work through this new process and see how it goes. Anyway, I'm going to grab the screen and we'll jump into that. All right. I got a new PC over the last weekend, and it's now been 5 days and I'm still working on it. Still trying to get it. One thing I don't recommend is ever buying a new PC if you don't have to, because it's a freaking nightmare. So anyway, we'll start with this one because this is the only pre-posted question we have. It says from Bobby Lee, hi SM, our digital marketing agency site is pretty strong and has some good rankings. We recently got approached by a well-known company wanting to provide us an article for guest post to get a link to their site. They are a legit company. Would you charge them and take the article so long as the quality is good? Yeah, I've actually done that for a few of my lead gen assets for tree service stuff. I've had a blogger reach out to me that does work for Lawn Starter, believe it or not. Lawn Starter is a directory site for tree service, landscaping, and lawn care contractors. And so they're actually kind of a competitor of mine, but I thought it was interesting because a blogger that freelances but is contracted by Lawn Starter has reached out to me. And in fact, I have 2 different tree service brands that I use for lead gen that have multiple locations, both of these brands. And so it's funny because he reached out to me, the same blogger reached out to me on both of those brands, basically pitching the same thing that you just mentioned, asking if they could publish an article that would be relevant to the topic of my tree service sites, obviously with a link back to whatever it is that they're promoting. And I said, as long as it's not a competitor in the area in which this company serves, yeah, I've got no problem with that. And I did it, and I only charged $50 for it. Because again, the way I looked at it was, and he developed good content. It had images already, and he did internal linking in the content. So he just sent me the articles that he published. He's done it 3 times now, twice on one site and once on the other. So I've done it 3 times with him. And every few months he'll reach out to me and say, hey, I'm ready to do another article, another post for you. Are you interested? And I was just like, yeah, because it's content for the blog. You know what I mean? As long as it's not linking to something that's in direct competition, then why, in my opinion, why not? Right? It's a source of revenue and it's additional content for the blog. And he did a really good job. The articles he developed were really well done. He got, images that had Creative Commons and stuff and already embedded all of the images, and he did internal links. In other words, he found other appropriate articles on the site to link to that then he placed internal links. And then he was only asking for 1 follow link to his, target asset or target URL or whatever. And so like I said, I've done it 3 times. I don't see any problem with that. We've had in some other instances too, some of my clients have asked me the same thing. Like, hey, we got an email from somebody saying that they'd like to post. What do you think? And I generally tell them, not to, unless they want to handle like payment and all that kind of stuff, because it's not really worth it for me to go through that. But again, it's not bad if you vet the person, right? Like if you vet the people that are trying to write. You said that you already know they've got good quality and all of that. So I don't see any reason why you can't do it, right? Again, the way I looked at it was additional content for the site that adds more topical relevance to the site, and I didn't have to publish it, right? And they actually paid me to publish an article on my domains. So were you able to find anything, Adam?
Sorry about that. I was muted. Just found a big 2-part question. I think we switched over and then people weren't able to ask questions. So we may have a short Hump Day Hangouts today, but it's all good.
Fine. So we only had a couple of questions?
Yeah, it's just that it's 1 question. And so I said question and then part 2, but interesting thing, you can only have 200 characters in the or in the YouTube chat.
Well, then maybe we change this shit around.
No, it's fine because you can just type it again. You know what I mean? You just got to break up questions. I like it. It keeps it from a wall of text. So
yeah, I see that now, the 200 thing. And I'm just curious because somebody reached out to me last week and was like, I was confused. Why don't you turn off chat? And I didn't even reply, but I don't think you can. I don't think you can even disable chat on these. So anyway, we're trying this, guys. Like I said, we're giving it a shot. All right, question. Hello, I've got a masonry website with a guy with a simple Facebook page. Hold on a minute. One more thing. I wanted to see if you could pop that out, but apparently not. All right, back to the question. I've got a masonry.
Yeah, Bradley,
website.
real quick, you should be able to pop it out. If you go up to the hamburger, the 3 dots to the right of top chat, you should be able to pop it out.
Oh, that's even better.
Yep.
That's better. Okay, right on. Well, then let's just do that. All right. So back to the question. Hello, I've got a masonry website with a guy with a simple Facebook page, and a guy with a simple Facebook page is ranking number 1 on his website. That is one homepage with 270 words, 6 months old, and 2 backlinks. It's ranking number 2. I'm not understanding it. Anyone have a clue why this guy could be doing to rank number 1 and 2 there? City has 175,000 and has probably 10 to 12 businesses related. There's always times where there's anomalies, right? I call them algorithmic anomalies, and it happens. And there's sometimes where I can't explain why something is ranking either. If you dig into the data, like I know you say that they've only got 2 backlinks. Yeah, maybe it could be that it's a really well-established entity, like it's an old company, or it's been around for a long time and they're established. There's that sometimes is it. Like if it's a company that has been around for 20 years or maybe longer, whatever, they're well established. So they're even if they haven't done a lot of SEO, they're well established entities. Like I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I've seen that happen. It generally, like if you try to duplicate that with a newer, younger company, like something that was only a couple of years old, that's very difficult to do. But something that's been established and around for a long time, I've seen that occasionally. Also, I know you say there's only 2 backlinks, and I don't know what kind of backlink analysis you're using, but that may be true. There might only be 2 backlinks. So, what I was going to say was a lot of I use Majestic. So Majestic will only show links that are its own algorithms its own algorithm has determined are providing measurable value. It's what's called the fresh index. That's what I analyze. They also have what's called the historic index, which shows the links that have decayed or atrophied according to Majestic's algorithm, as well as links that they deem are insignificant, that are just noise, so to speak. So they filter that out. So a lot of the times, again, I don't know what backlink analysis tool you're using, because some of those will show everything. Some of them will filter them out like Majestic does, so it just depends. But sometimes links that I found that are like like citations and things like that won't appear in the backlink analysis reports, but they are in Search Console. So meaning there's links that aren't significant enough to show up in the analysis, the tools, but there's still links there, if that makes sense. And for local stuff, I've seen that occur with like links from citations and also from like local sources and things like that. It's kind of rare that you don't see those types of links though in a backlink analysis, where Search Console has seen them, but they're not in a backlink analysis. Depends on whether they're indexed by like Majestic keeps its own index, is what I'm saying. But then there are times where I just have no way of explaining it. And I call that an algorithmic anomaly, because there are times where I've seen stuff that is ranked. I just can't explain it. I've even gone through like deep dive trying to dissect why it's ranking and can't figure it out. And that happens. It's not often, but it does happen from time to time. And I just don't know how to explain it, unfortunately. So I don't know if that was helpful or not. I could look at it if I knew what it was, but I don't know what it is. So, I just don't know. Sorry about that. Again, it's one of those things where you can't, without having more detail to look at, I wouldn't be able to tell if there's something else going on that could be causing that. Now, something else though that you have to keep in mind that I've seen recently, and I've experienced it firsthand with one of my own businesses. I was talking about this in our mastermind. Actually, you had somebody posted about direct mail. We were talking, one of my webinars that I host in the mastermind is called Build with Bradley. It's a Zoom meeting, a discussion group that we do every other Thursday for an hour. And anyway, in the last one that we had, we were talking about direct mail. And after the meeting, one of our members posted in our Facebook group about direct mail. He was like, speak of the devil, like we were just talking about direct mail today, and he got some direct mail from a local business that he showcased. He took a screenshot, or a photo of it, and posted that, started a little discussion about it. And I was talking about how direct mail actually using like physical mail, right? I'm talking about like U.S. Postal Service delivering mail. You can use that for SEO. Like, I'm not kidding. And I kind of stumbled across this with my own business when I was flipping vacant land for about 2 years, from 2019 to 2021. So I did that as a side hustle. I was flipping land, like people flip houses while I was flipping vacant land. It was just kind of a side hustle, like I said. And it was interesting because I had created my landing page. It's still live today, in fact, and you could probably go check it out. I'll see if it's still on page 1. It was 2 weeks ago. And I haven't done any work with that business in almost 2 years now. Yeah, because it was 2021 when I stopped. But anyway, let me just show you what I'm talking about. So if my primary keyword was sell land fast, Virginia. Okay. If we take a look at this, we'll scroll down here. There it is right now. Now, this is the landing page that I created. Now it's at, position 10, 9, 8. So it's in position 8. I haven't even touched this in 2 years. Like, I swear to God, because the last time I sold a property, the last time I flipped a piece of vacant land was in 2020, sometime in 2020. And it was from the last time I'd done any marketing to acquire vacant land was in 2019. So it just happened that I had one property that I had about a four-month closing time frame to get it to closing. And so I didn't close on that until 2020. So what I'm saying is I'd stopped marketing for this business. I'm sorry, it was 2021 because it was from 2019 to 2021 that I did this. But I'd stopped marketing for this business in 2020 because I stopped flipping land. Like, I stopped doing that as a side hustle because I wanted to refocus back in on SEO. So anyway, the reason I'm telling you that is because this is still ranked today. Yes, it's only in position number 8, but I haven't done any SEO work to this in 2 years. Does that make sense? And even what I'm telling you is I didn't do any SEO work to this initially when this is just a ClickFunnels landing page, guys. ClickFunnels very limited in what you can optimize, because especially when I created this page, they didn't have heading tags. Like, you couldn't designate H1s, H2s, and all that other kind of stuff. It was literally just headings and text. And so you couldn't really optimize the elements of the page, right? So all I did was slap up this single page funnel or whatever on ClickFunnels page. And then I started when I launched the business, which was I think it was in either March or April of 2019. The first month, all I did was I set up a Google Ads campaign. Okay. So I had Google Ads running, and then I started doing direct mail to vacant landowners in Virginia. And I'd sent out about 1,000 letters over the first month. So the first 30 days that this was live, this business was live and this landing page was live, all I had was Google Ads, no SEO. I didn't do any of the semantic mastery SEO methods because I wasn't planning on generating leads from SEO. I was planning on using direct mail. And I put up some ads because I knew that, ads I could get ranked immediately. I just hadn't planned on SEOing this. Okay. Just to be clear, but I set up ads and I started doing direct mail. And within 30 days, this ranked number 1 for my primary keyword, sell land fast, Virginia, which is interesting because what I ended up discovering was what happened. People were getting the letter that I would send to vacant landowners telling them, like, hey, my name is Bradley. I'm a land investor, a private investor. I'm looking to acquire more vacant land in whatever county it was that I'm sending it to. And your property, you were identified as a vacant landowner, and I'm interested in making a cash offer on your property. If you're interested, go to, and it would have the link to this page right here on there. But I had my logo, up at the top of that letter. It was just a single page letter that I sent to them, basically pitching them like, hey, if you want a cash offer for your vacant land, go here and or call this number, because I have a 1-800 answering service, an answering service that would answer the phone and answer all these questions down here. That's what they would ask. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is I would direct the recipient that had the letter to either go to the landing page, complete this form, or call the call center. Well, what ended up happening was a lot of people got these letters and they would go to Google and search for Alpha Land Realty. So they would do a branded search and then click through to this page. So in other words, let me just show you. If I go back over to Google and I do a search for Alpha Land Realty, I'm going to come up number 1, right? Plain as day. So what they were doing was, by doing direct mail, sending a letter with my branding on it, they would go to Google instead of going directly to the Google search or the address bar and typing in alphaland.realty/sell or whatever, they would go to Google and search Alpha Land Realty and then click through. And by doing that, that was a search and click signal and that's interesting. That was the WordPress site that popped up. It was a branded search, like CTR manipulation. We talk about all the time. Well, this was like socially engineered CTR manipulation. Like, this wasn't bots. These were real people in Virginia, real Google users that would go to Google and search Alpha Land Realty and then click through to my website. And that signal alone helped me to rank #1 for my keyword, not for the brand, but for the keyword. Now, why is that? Because if you take a look at, now, again, I haven't done any marketing for this in 2 years, but if we take a look at the title tag, it says it right here. You can see it. Alpha Land Realty, sell land fast in Virginia and Tennessee. And I added Tennessee like the last 6 months that I was flipping land. The first year and a half, all I did was Virginia alone. So my brand name and the primary keyword were in the title tag, but a branded search and click from real people, not from bots, but from real people that were in Virginia, going and searching Alpha Land Realty and then clicking through to my site, ranked the site #1 for sell land fast Virginia. Does that make sense? And it's because it was part of the SEO title for my Alpha Land Realty page. There was an association between Alpha Land Realty and sell land fast Virginia. That's why this was a great question, actually, because it's very timely. I'm doing a ton of Local Fury audits. Part of what we do for Local Fury now is when you join, you have to pay an onboarding and an audit fee, because that then allows what we do is when you submit your project data, we analyze, we do what I call a local SEO audit and an entity analysis. And then we review, it's now a 21-point checklist that I'm going through, kind of auditing the project holistically. In other words, looking at the entire project to determine if there's any kind of weaknesses or anything else that could be improved upon, so that when we send signals via Local Fury, it's going to rank better, right? But in these audits, I've been finding a lot where people's SEO, whatever their location landing page that they've designated or assigned. What is that? A location landing page is the website URL associated with the Google business profile, right? So whatever you have designated as the website for your Google business profile, that is what's called a location landing page, right? Because it's the landing page for that Google business location. If it's a single location business, it's generally going to be the homepage, usually. If it's a multi-location business, then it typically should be an internal location page that's optimized for that specific location, right? But what I'm trying to say is, whatever you use as your location landing page, a homepage or an inner location page, you should always have your brand name in the title tag alongside your primary keyword. But you should always have, what I'm finding a lot on these audits that I'm doing for Local Fury clients, customers, members, whatever, is that a lot of the times they're targeting their keywords in their title tag, but they're not including their brand name, that's wrong. Like, it's a missed opportunity, because we want to reinforce to Google the brand and reinforce the entity. And there's 3 components to a local entity, 3 main components, what I call tier 0 assets. There's the self-hosted site, the Google business profile, and in the Google business website, which is a bridge between the two. So the self-hosted site, okay, that's the organic side of the local entity. Then the Google business profile is the maps side of the local business the local entity. But the Google business website is like a hybrid. It's a bridge between the two that connects the organic side to the map side, if that makes sense. And so, interestingly enough, and I'll demonstrate that right now with Alpha Land Realty, just to show you, okay? Alpha Land Realty.business.site. I thought I had published that. Let me just do a quick search for that first. Maybe I didn't, but anyway, what I was going to show you was, if you take a look, guys, at your Google business websites, you'll see, and I'm coming back to the original question here about, using CTR and things like that for brand, to be able to rank stuff, even branded search and clicks, right? And direct mail and all of that. I'm coming back to that point, but give me a minute. So I'm going to look for business.site and then Alpha Land Realty. There it is. Maybe I misspelled it the first time. There it is. Okay, so this is what I was trying to demonstrate, guys. Okay, if you see in my title tag up here, now I know it's small, But if you can see that it's what you're seeing, it's the same title tag as you see here. The difference is I like to put the keyword plus location modifier first, and then on the location landing page. Okay. So I like to have the keyword and location modifier first, and then the brand name. Full stop, always. That's what I do. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that you want to always reinforce between those three components, the brand name. And by reinforcing the brand name, but putting your keyword in alongside it, you're associating your primary keyword with that brand name. And Google does this automatically with the Google business websites. It doesn't give you an option. And that's why I'm saying, pay attention to what Google does and duplicate that, right? You want to replicate that with your own optimization. And so what I'm saying is, if we go take a look at this, let me go back over here. This is the Google business profile, and look at the name, the profile name, Alpha Land Realty. Well, look at the Google business website, the title tag. You don't have a choice over this. It's whatever the Google business profile name is the first part of the SEO title for the Google business website. You have no control over that. You can't change it. The only way you can change it is if you change the Google business profile name. Do you understand? But then the part that we do have control over is that second part. Okay, so you see that right there. That is the part that we see as the second part of the SEO title. But what I'm saying is we have no control over this. That is automatically inserted by Google. Okay, so shouldn't we also do that with whatever our location landing page is associated with that project? Do you get that? It doesn't have to be the first part of the SEO title, but your brand name should always be in the SEO title for the location landing page. Because again, it's reinforcing, validating the entity across all three components. All right. So one more time, Google business location name, Google business website. It's the brand name is in the first part of the SEO title. And then we associate the primary keyword. And then on the money site, we have the primary keyword and location modifier, and then the brand name. Do you understand? So it's always reinforcing. And that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make is I learned that you can rank. So getting back to the original question about, well, how can somebody be ranking when they've only got 2 backlinks and very little content? It could be off-page signals. They could be ranking because they're doing off-page offline marketing, like radio ads, direct mail, print ads in their local area. So newspaper inserts, newspaper ads, whatever else. They could be going door to door, hanging flyers on doorknobs, or putting folded flyers on mailboxes. Or you're not supposed to put them in mailboxes because that's a federal offense. You're supposed to put them on the mailbox. You know what I mean? But my point is they could be doing offline marketing, which is driving people to Google to do a brand search, just like what I experienced with Alpha Land Realty. Do you get what I'm saying? So there are times where we can analyze data, but there's no data that warrants or can justify, there's not enough data to justify why they're performing well. And then we have to look at, well, what else could there possibly be? And it could be just literally, they could be ranking on engagement signals and traffic and CTR, but real CTR, not bot traffic. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it could be that as well. And that's something to always pay attention to, because if you have one of my tree service contractors is in Massachusetts, he actually just sent me an email 2 days ago and said one of the companies that's a competitor of his, they've only been around 10 years. And this company, my client's been around for 30 years. But there's this other company that is ranking really well across a very large service area, and they're spending a ton of money on radio ads and TV spots, local TV ads. And so my client reached out to me and was like, I don't know how they have the money to spend on that kind of advertising, but because of it, they're crushing it. They're everywhere. And I've noticed that too, because he's been a client of mine for about 5 months, and I've seen this other company. They're everywhere. And so I basically told him, I was like, he asked me, he's like, is there any other way that we can capitalize on all the money that they're spending for their brand recognition? And I said, yeah, we can do a brand campaign in Google Ads where we're targeting their brand name to where our ad will show up at the top when somebody does a brand search for them. Now, it might show up below them because if they're smart and they're bidding on their own brand name, they're always going to appear at the top above the other ads. But we can set up a branded ad campaign where we're targeting their brand name as the search query. We can't use their brand name in the ad copy, but we can target that as the targeted keyword, if that makes sense. And so that's what I told him I'd do. I was like, yeah, we can do that. I can set up a branded campaign where we're targeting that tree service company name so that when they're generating all this search traffic from offline marketing, radio spots and TV ads, then therefore, when people go to Google to search for that tree service name, your ad will show up. Does that make sense? Again, if they're bidding on their own brand name, their ad will always show at the very top, but we can show up right underneath that and give an alternative option. And we will siphon some of that traffic away from them. Do you understand? So anyway, that was a great question. I just thought it was, a good opportunity to kind of describe that. And we had a discussion about this in our mastermind. Like, guys, direct mail is a great strategy because, we all spend money and time and effort trying to manipulate signals using local fury and CTR stuff, which, by the way, we didn't talk about Kraken. We should talk about that. Adam.
Yeah, good reminder.
But yeah, we spend a lot of time and effort trying to manipulate things like that. And where, a direct, like, guys, I years ago, before I got into digital marketing, I used to flip houses from 2003 to 2008, 2007, the real estate bubble burst in the United States. And I basically went bankrupt then, but I tried to hang on for one more year. So I ended up, that business went bankrupt in 2008 because I was in the rehabbing houses and things like that. But what I'm saying is I learned direct mail from 2003 to 2007. I was doing a ton of direct mail. I mean, I was spending, $4,000 or $5,000 a month on direct mail campaigns to acquire properties, but it worked. It worked fantastically well. And that's the best way to market for vacant land too. And so what I'm saying is, like, I'm still a believer today. And it wasn't until this project, though, this Alpha Land Realty project, that I realized that direct mail can assist SEO. Like, it not only can you generate real valid leads for your businesses, your clients' businesses, by managing direct mail campaigns for them, if that's something that you choose to do for them, or they can hire it out or somewhere else, whatever. But the point is, not only will that generate valid leads for their business, but it also helps to assist with SEO if done right. Right. So instead of putting a link in the mail that you send to them, you could tell them, go to Google and search for the name, whatever the company name is, and click through. Like, that is a huge signal. Right. So if you do direct mail on your local area and you tell them in the, whatever it is, a postcard, letter, whatever it is that you ask them to go to Google and search for the brand name, then that is a huge signal. And those are all real valid users in a local area. Right. So it's just like what we tried to do with CTR, but it's real. It's social engineered CTR manipulation. And I say it's manipulation, but it's, in all reality, you're actually investing in marketing. It's true traditional marketing, and it can help SEO. Right on. It was a good question. All right. So let's talk about Kraken. I don't see any other questions.
Yeah. I'll grab the replay URL and put that on the page.
Okay. So the last thing, guys, and then I guess we'll wrap it up. And if you guys have any questions, use YouTube chat, because that's what we're trying now. I see a wave. I don't know if that's a wave or somebody raising a hand, or I don't know what that is. Can you see my chat, the YouTube chat, Adam?
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't know if you guys could see that or not. If it was Zoom, you wouldn't be able to see it. So the last thing would be Michael Bose. Let's see, where's the link for that?
I got it right here.
Put it in chat Slack for me, would you?
Sure. There we go. Paste. Oh, right. 1 sec. Let me send it directly to you. You got it.
What I wanted was that's right. I'll stop it. I did that thumbnail. We uploaded this earlier without a thumbnail, and that's a no now. So I did the thumbnail earlier today, and I updated the title, by the way. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share. So guys, go to there's a webinar that we did with Michael on Monday earlier this week. It's about the Kraken Viper is what he's calling it, which Viper Tools was great. And then for a while I stopped using it because Michael Bose was having some health issues, and God bless him. But anyways, then I started using other tools because I wasn't doing mostly I've been doing a lot of referral campaigns lately. And then we built Local Fury, which is CTR plus, but it's only on maps. But I've been using for sending referral traffic through tier 1 links. That's primarily the type of CTR stuff that I've been doing for most of this year. And I was waiting for this to come out because I knew about this about a year ago, Kraken about a year ago. And this is his, let me just get to a screen where it shows the inside of it. So this is it here. Anyways, the Kraken Viper is a CTR tool that is programmable. So where basically you can set up, you can chain clicks together with all different types of potential sources. And you can get, as elaborate as you want and customize click activity through different channels and all that kind of stuff. And I've been waiting on this for a year because, like I said, Michael and I talked about this about a year ago. And so he's got it done, and he's actually, in just the last few weeks, he's really improved the interface and all of that. It's now, as it looks on the screen there. So I would encourage you guys to check it out. I'm testing with it right now. Michael's tools are good tools. Like I said, there was a period of time where he had some health issues, and they weren't kept up as much as possible. But most of what he does now is done in the cloud, so you don't need to worry about like updating desktop software and everything else. You can run what's called the Hydra, which will help you to earn credits and things like that. And it also helps the network for CTR stuff, but you don't have to, because you get a certain amount of credits per month with whatever subscription or plan you buy, and you could just run it purely in the cloud. Which part of the reason I didn't like to use, I don't like using desktop CTR apps anymore, because they're just a pain in the ass. I'm still using CTR Booster for referral traffic, but not for long. I'm probably going to cancel that now because I'm using Viper tools now. And it's just so much easier to manage when it's done in the cloud. So anyway, I would encourage you to check it out. It's a really good service. It's beyond any of the other types of CTR tools that I've seen out there. Now, before I get this question again, because I've already had several people reach out to me and say, well, how is this any different than Local Fury? Because this is a do-it-yourself app, and it's CTR. That's it. It's a CTR app, and it's do-it-yourself. So if you want to go in and figure out the best way to do CTR, and the search and click volume and all of that, that's fine. That's what the app is for. And I would encourage you to check out Kraken, because it's probably more advanced than any other CTR tool that I've seen. But it's do it yourself. That means you manage everything. You figure it out. You configure all of your own CTR recipes, although there is going to be the ability to save and share recipes within about a month, I think he said. He talks about it in the webinar. So that's going to be a really nice when we can create and share different types of CTR recipes. But again, it's do it yourself. So it's up to you to figure it out and test and all that. Local Fury is done for you. We do it for you. And it's CTR is part of it, but there's also other stuff, because we do like maps, engagement signals, and we create real profiles. And I say real, but we create Google profiles, personas, that then we create an Android phone that is attached to that profile, and it's married to them. And we keep those profiles live and active and engaged in the cities in which that we create them in, so that they're active and engaged all the time, even when they're not sending signals to the target assets that you guys as clients or members of Local Fury have submitted. Those profiles are still active and engaged, and they're visiting other businesses and navigating to other, like around the town and all of that during normal waking hours, if that makes sense. So we are creating like this ever expanding database. We have to keep buying more equipment of these profiles that are active and engaged profiles that are live and living in that city, region, whatever, and actually engaging on things all the time during normal hours, like waking hours, if that makes sense. So that whenever we have to send signals to what you submit, then we're sending signals from a profile that appears to be real. Does that make sense? So it's different than just bot, CTR manipulation through bot traffic. These are profiles that we're creating and maintaining. So it's been a bit of a challenge, but it is different. So I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm saying they're different things. It's apples and oranges, right? I do a lot of CTR stuff, and I also have Local Fury. Do you understand what I'm saying? I do both, because I use CTR, like I said, mainly for referral traffic now, than more than search and click stuff, because what I focus on for CTR manipulation signals is branded search and clicks, right? And then referral traffic, as I just mentioned, powering up my tier 1 links by sending traffic through them. That's what I do the most of. I don't do a lot of keyword search and click stuff. I just don't think it's really all that necessary, because I can accomplish most of what I do by improving the brand, the entity, strengthening the entity, and in referral traffic, and then through content and links and everything else, if that makes sense. CTR is a component, but I focus mainly on the kind of branded side of things, because that is just more effective in my opinion. Okay. So anyway, check it out. It was a pretty good webinar. It was fairly short, and he made a nice offer. So let's see, restore chat. What happened to it?
Let's see. Looks like we had one last question here. Was asking, what is the best marketing advice you have for realtors and mortgage brokers as far as SEO, considering the rising interest rates? So I would say that's a two-part question. We'll stick to the SEO because we can't influence interest rates and what that's going to do to dampen buying activity, which, I mean, I was seeing some statistics today. I was surprised that I hadn't seen so much about it decreasing, and new home ownership or purchases, have really taken a hit, and they finally got some of the data. So I'm sure real estate realtors and mortgage brokers are definitely starting to feel the crunch.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, with interest rates and also just the cost of properties being so high, plus the interest rates, the cost of borrowing money is so high that it's becoming prohibitive to be able to purchase property right now. So what is the best marketing advice you have for realtors and mortgage brokers as far as SEO, considering the rising interest rates? I really don't know. I'm not in the real estate business anymore. I don't know. I'd have to think through that one. I can tell you one thing, like, I think we're on the verge of another real estate bubble crash, another real estate bubble burst, crash, whatever you want to call it. I think there's a lot of, because of just the state of the economy and the value, the value of the dollar declining, which is why the cost of everything is going up. So inflation and interest rates to fight inflation and all of this kind of stuff, it's causing the value, or excuse me, the prices to inflate for property as well. And, it's cyclical. The real estate industry is cyclical. So we're probably due for another correction. And I feel like that's coming. So what I would recommend, and I always look at everything from an investor side, because that's what I did. I flipped properties. I did houses for 4 or 5 years, and then I did land for 2 years. So I always look at it like the investment side of things, not the realtor side of things. I think if realtors knew better, they would become investors and not real estate agents, right? In my opinion, that's my opinion. Anyway. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity to purchase properties after that crash occurs. It's just like when a stock market crash occurs, when's the best time to buy? Right after a crash. You know what I mean? Same thing with the real estate. If you guys remember in 2007, when the real estate market crashed, man, we went through several years where foreclosures, oh my God, you could buy up foreclosures. And that's where a lot of these big ass companies like BlackRock and Vanguard and all these companies out there, that these big ass global corporations started buying, I forget what it's called now, but they would buy, blocks of houses from banks that had been foreclosed on because of the economy, the big crash that occurred, and, so many foreclosures and all of that. And so they'd come in and they would buy 100 houses at a time, literally 100 houses that were foreclosed that were on Bank of America's books, for example. And those are big corporations, but I think little investors, small investors have the opportunity. And when I say small investors, I mean, some real estate investors still have a lot of money, but I'm saying as a real estate agent or realtor, I think now would be a good time to try to start developing relationships, hunting down and trying to develop relationships with real estate investors, buy and hold type investors, cash buyers, right? Because when that burst occurs, when the bubble bursts again, the crash happens, which I feel is going to happen again. And I could be wrong. I'm not in the real estate industry anymore, so I don't know, but it feels like that. And anyway, if it does occur, then that's going to be a perfect opportunity for cash buyer investors to be purchasing up a whole lot of properties. And you, as the real estate agent or broker or whatever, could insert yourself in between that and make nice, healthy commissions, right?
Yeah. I would also say too, just to add on to that, to say, while things are maybe feeling a little tight right now, hey, get in front of it and do what you can do. If you need to come back, I apologize, I don't recognize your name. If you've been following us, that's great. If not, come back and, keep asking questions. What can you do to improve your SEO? Do you need ideas for local link building to help? Are you present on maps? Have you optimized your Google business profile? What's your website doing? Start doing these things now before things really start hurting and you're like, oh crap, I got to scramble. And a lot of people will put it off until they absolutely have to have it. And if you're working on it and coming here to Hump Day Hangouts and asking questions or joining the mastermind, whatever it is, you're going to be ahead of the curve. So I'll just put that kind of in there and say you're in the right place. Just keep asking questions and get stuff moving.
Yeah. I mean, I love the real estate. I mean, that's where I want to, invest my money is in real estate. Like it's an appreciating asset for the most part. It's tangible, right? With the value of the dollar crashing, then, it's kind of good to have tangibles, physical assets, real estate, precious metals, etc. In my opinion, at least that's kind of my strategy. So right on. Well, I don't see any other questions. And I see the not Tom Hanks gif guys in there. What's up, man? I'm so used to seeing that. Anyways, thanks everybody for being here. Go check out the Kraken. Let us know what you think about having this on YouTube. It's going to take some getting used to. We'll try to smooth this process out a little bit, but I want to give it probably a month before we abandon ship, just because I want to see what it does to our YouTube stats. If it starts to grow our channel, we're going to keep it up this way.
Well, I would say, let's we'll probably go through January just to get some non-holiday timeframes too. And then so we'll try it for a bit. If it doesn't work, we'll set it back or come up with something new.